Watching Vivek Ramaswamy discuss things, it's like watching Lionel Messi play soccer or Michael Jordan basketball. He is just so much better than anybody else I have seen and witnessed that I want to pay homage to him. I love this man. And here he is with Charlemagne the God once again trying to trip up Vivek over words that Trump said. I'll be back to discuss after the next 5 minutes.
What I've seen happen is, because I get questions on this regularly, Trump will say something. There will be one word they pick out. Vermin was one. They followed me around about that for a week. What do you think about the Donald Trump called his opponents vermin? And it's a whole game that the media plays where they will
quoting
pick,
Hitler. Vivek.
They will pick one word he says and then actually have you respond to it, as opposed to taking
actually quoting
the
Hitler.
actual. But the obsession over picking some word that Donald Trump said,
he was quoting
and
Hitler.
making that the news story versus actually asking about the substance.
Right?
I mean, Charlemagne, I think I saw some of your own commentary recently where you agree with me on the border being a crisis. And it's ridiculous what's happening on the southern border.
What got to do with anything?
What did he say? What did he say that quoted Hitler? Let's actually just go to the specifics. Let's just go to the specifics and do this, because this is exactly what happened.
Oh boy!
Pull it up word for word. Read me the whole paragraph. What comes before, during, and after. I don't even know what you're referring to, but I know enough of how the game is played that I just want to play this out.
And he also said that he didn't know Hitler had used the term.
Okay,
and that was the poisoning the blood term. That's straight out of the manifesto.
Just because somebody says a word that also appears in some English translation of the manifesto is some sort of weird game of gotcha. Just read to me the full paragraph block
quote. You're saying
quote.
Immigrants poison the blood of America?
No. Give me Donald Trump's quote. We're not going to do the game of the secondhand, NBC News distillation of it. Just get to the primary source.
Hold on.
Because I know Donald Trump, and he's not somebody who goes around quoting Adolf Hitler. It's just not a thing that happens. I know half this country is taught to believe by the media that that's what he does, but that's just not Donald Trump.
I think the real number is 15, 16 million people into our country. When they do that, we got a lot of work to do. They're poisoning the blood of our country, Trump told the crowd at a rally in New Hampshire. That's what they've done. They poison mental institutions and prisons all over the world, not just in South America, not just the 3 or 4 countries that we think about, but all over the world. They're coming into our country from Africa, from Asia, all over the world. And he kept repeating the phrase, poisoning the blood of our country.
Can you just do me one favor? Because we got it. I think this is so valuable. Just read exactly Trump's quote. Read the whole sentence.
Illegal immigration is poisoning the blood of our nation.
Okay, and read the rest of it as you did. Just go the whole paragraph, because I think
did.
Just do it one more time, just so everybody hear what he actually said versus the news story.
The term blood poisoning was used by Hitler in his
read what Donald Trump said, not what somebody wrote about it.
He criticized immigration and the mixing of all races. Trump is doing the exact same thing.
They're poisoning the mental health institutions. They're poisoning the prisons.
Said poisoning the blood of our country.
That was one line from a broader litany.
That's Hitler's line.
And so I'll tell you this, man. I went to the south side of Chicago in this campaign against the advice of my campaign advisors, because they said, why are you going there in the middle of a primary? Mm-hmm. I'm running to unite the country. You know what they're doing in Chicago right now, or at least at the time I went there? They were converting South Shore High School, a poor high school on the south side of Chicago, into an encampment for migrants who are in this country illegally at a cost of $7,000 per migrant per month.
Absolutely. That happened in New York a couple years ago.
There were things said in the room that I was in that were far more incendiary than what you just read right there. And I don't hold it against the people who were in that room with me, because America First includes all Americans. And I think it is dead wrong that we are rewarding mass numbers of people who have entered this country illegally, breaking the law as they do it, coming in by the millions, and rewarding them more than we are our own fellow citizens right here at home.
You'll get
and
no disagreement.
So that's a major problem affecting people, black and white, Democrat and Republican, poor and middle class across this country. And yet we're sitting here obsessing over one word in a long paragraph that said poison the blood when it included a reference to mental health institutions and jails and other public resources in the United States. That is everything that's wrong with our media right now.
When you got
and I think that it's going to be people like you guys who are actually going to help lead the media out of this, because you are actually not beholden by the same partisan orthodoxies.
But when you got a guy who
says, talk about the actual substance, about what we need to address.
It's hard to when you got a guy who says he wants to be a dictator for a day. It's hard when it's a guy who says you got to terminate the Constitution in order to overturn the results of an election. It's hard when it's a guy who's led an attempted coup in this country.
Get over the derangement syndrome and focus on the actual problems we have to solve as a country. And you look at actually the border, the economy. You want to look at staying out of foreign wars? Yeah, I will take a president who has sharp elbows, who is actually able to accomplish those things.
So words don't matter?
Over somebody. I'm not saying words don't matter.
Yes, you
Words
are.
do matter, but words taken out of context in a way. Am I going to say everything the same way that Donald Trump did? I don't know why I'm sitting here being questioned, again, what the entire media loves to do, on picking some word Trump said, and we're sitting here talking about that rather than a vision for the country.
Okay, well,
let's talk about the actual country.
Let's ask about this
Let's
for the
talk
vision of
about
the
the
country.
actual
Hold on.
issues we're addressing
Okay,
as a country.
let's ask about this for the vision of the country.
Yes, exactly. Let's talk about the actual country.
What's the point of the GOP attaching themselves to Trump the way they have when he hasn't won anything since 2016?
The GOP attaching themselves to Trump is, I think, a bizarre framing where the GOP is electing a leader to lead our America First movement to the next level, and they're saying in droves that Donald Trump should be that leader. Now, how do we actually use that to accomplish something for our country? Our country, I think, made a poor decision in putting Joe Biden in office. I think the results speak for themselves. I think a lot of the economic numbers are a fallacy. Prices are higher. Wages haven't gone up to the same degree. Mortgage rates are higher. People live in tougher circumstances. We've got millions more who have entered this country illegally, taken up public resources that should be used on other purposes. And yet, somehow, we are still focusing on some word that Donald Trump said as opposed to asking ourselves, how are we going to address that underlying reality?
He hasn't won anything since 2016. So
He-
what's the point?
He won in 2016, and
and
I
he
think that
hasn't
they
won
robbed
anything
him.
since.
What? He ran one
2018,
election.
you lost the House.
He ran one election.
2018, you lost the House. 2020, you lost the White House.
I think he's going to win in a landslide this year.
But what about sure? But he hasn't won anything
fairly
since
conducted election. I think he
2016.
wins in a landslide this year. Look, I think people voted for the policies. And at the end of the day, look, I'm looking to take many of those policies to the next level. That's what I was doing in my candidacy. But the people were clear. They want someone who's tried and true. And they want the policies we had from 2016 to 2020. That's what we're going to have in this country.
Now, Vivek,
I just find him so impressive. And just so you guys, in addition to having the fun of watching him debate this is, again, what the media does over and over again. They take one small segment of a larger piece, of a larger speech, and they focus in on those words and try to frame the politician, whoever that might be, whether it's Donald Trump, John McCain, Dan Crenshaw, Joe Biden, I don't care who it is. Both sides will likely do it because it's a common tactic, and they will try to frame them with those words. And this is why politicians today are overly careful with what they say. Trump, maybe not enough, but it's just sickening what the media does. And Vivek, rather than kowtow and apologize or throw Trump under the bus, realizes what the media does, knows what it's done to him, and immediately knows that there's a larger context because we all know it. I mean, I hear people over and over again say that Trump said that there were fine people on both sides in Charlottesville, and they claim that he's supporting white nationalists and neo-Nazis, when in the very next statement he states that I don't mean the white nationalists and the neo-Nazis because they should be condemned totally. So this is what they do over and over again. It is so dishonest. It is really disgusting. And good on Vivek for bringing that to our attention so articulately. Love this guy. I hope you guys were entertained. If you were, thumb up the video, subscribe, and share it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Peace.